We all know the most famous consoles, which are Xbox and PlayStation. The most common thing between these consoles is that they are both good consoles. However, different companies in the past have tried to make a console but have failed. So today I've compiled 5 different failed consoles and I will tell you about them. So without further ado, let's just get right on into it. The Commodore was a home video game console that was released in December of 1990. The Commodore company actually had good games for that time, like Hot Wheels and their Mario copy, The Great Giana Sisters. However, their game console did not do so well. Since it was released in 1990, companies like Nintendo and Sega had way more popular consoles, and they're just more popular in general. Nintendo released the SCS in November of that year, and since the Commodore was released only 2 months after that, the console was destined to fail. Commodore tried to compete with Nintendo, but they didn't do so well. But at least they tried. In 1995, Nintendo attempted to make a VR headset. Now, it was marketed as a VR headset, but it really wasn't. The games were just in 3D, and it didn't really go on your head. It went on a tripod. Also, the headset itself was really uncomfortable to use. This console is Nintendo's worst-selling console with around 770,000 units sold, and it was discontinued less than a year later. The original Atari was a massive success, but that can't be said about the Atari Lynx. The Lynx was a handheld version of the Atari. The Lynx was released shortly after the Nintendo Game Boy, and that was one of the problems. Like we've learned, Nintendo was a way bigger company at the time, and trying to compete with it was very hard. It wasn't just that though. The Lynx had fewer games than the Game Boy, and the Lynx also had bad marketing. However, the Lynx stayed second in sales until the Sega Game Gear, and the Lynx is credited with discovering handheld game consoles. Yes, Apple made a console. In 1996, Apple made the Apple Band-Aid Pippin. Now, during this time, Steve Jobs was working at Pixar, because he founded it. Also during this time, the market for consoles and home computers were a luxury thing to have, so Apple decided to make their own console and partner up with Band-Aid, which is a game and toy company. They were originally going to make a scaled-down version of their Mac. However, Apple decided with this console to make a console and a computer in one. The console could play music and could be used as a communication device. Now, why did this console fail? I mean, it had all these features, right? Well, just like Apple does, they made it very expensive. This console was priced at $650. Now, in today's money, that would be $1,234. Apple also didn't do good on marketing. Apple's bad marketing and them overpricing this console is a very valid reason why this console failed. Finally, we had the beloved Wii U. On November 18th, 2012, the Wii U was released. The Wii U was the first high-definition game console, and it had a touchscreen gamepad. Also, it could still use your Wii remote. However, this console had horrible battery life. This console only lasted 3 to 5 hours long. Also, like the other consoles, the Wii U had bad marketing, which is very common with these failed consoles. Also, the Wii U didn't have that much third-party support for games from previous consoles. The reason for that is the Wii U lacks support for third-party software. The Wii U was underpowered, and because of this, Nintendo couldn't really release third-party games. A year later, the PS4 and Xbox One came out, and the Wii U was only a year old. And with all the features that the Xbox One and the PS4 had, the Wii U couldn't really compete. The Wii U overall could have been a good console, but it felt very unfinished. And that is it for our consoles. Thank you all for watching this video. I am planning on making a part 2 on this. And overall, I just liked making this video. I hope you all enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you all later. Have a good one, and goodbye.